A lot of people don't take art very seriously. Maybe it's because they don't understand art's true potential. The truth is, art isn't always something that we just look at to get inspired by. In some cases, it can actually save lives. Normally, a single operating table that you'd find in a hospital in the United States would cost between $28,000 and $30,000. That's a price that developing countries really can't afford. But our goal is that they can afford ours.
It turns out that in those countries, it's not unusual that a hospital would have a surgical table if they have a surgeon, but frequently they don't have two. So I put together a team in the daVinci Center, which had just begun, made up of art students, business students, and engineering students. They had to go out and shop and design the table around the components. So the real breakthrough was a Saturday expedition to AutoZone. And in the course of that, they purchased a $12 scissor jack. And that was one of the aha moments. What if we made the scissor jack the center point of the design, and we designed the table around the center jack? So the second aha moment was that they all went to IKEA together. And at IKEA, they went with a purpose of seeing, how does IKEA make these flat pack things? And from that experience, they came back and decided that the surgical table needed to fold into a square. So out of all that came this surgical table, which in fact could be manufactured for less than $500. It could be sold for more than that, but the core cost was that.
So CoLab is what we call an anti-disciplinary educational experience.
So I heard about this course, CoLab. Matt Woolman is running it. And they presented us to different ideas. I had no idea what I was getting into.
A student entering their first year of a 4-year education may have an understanding of the jobs that are out there, but by the time they finish 4 years later, there are going to be a whole range of new jobs and new careers that have emerged in that short period of time thanks to new technology.
So we became aware of an emerging technology that was coming out, Google Glass, and one of the things that we came up with was healthcare.
So I had the chance through CoLab to work with the medical school and with people who worked there, the physicians, and they had a problem of communication.
So what our students learned is that many hospitals still have an archaic way of communicating. For example, beepers, which display no information about a patient's vitals, whether it's an emergency situation or otherwise. Because we knew about Google Glass, our students saw potential for a platform to be developed where vital information could be transmitted to teams of doctors who could respond to a serious situation.
So this all started a long time ago, about a decade ago. Standardized patients are actors that you train to pretend to be patients, perform the role of patients so that doctors can practice communicating with them, can practice diagnosing them, and can practice doing physical exams on them.
We started the Center for Human Simulation and Patient Safety in the School of Medicine. We knew that ultimately we wanted to have a standardized patient cohort associated with the simulation resources that we were building.
It became clear over time, working with all these different areas, that the school, the university, really needed a standardized patient program of their own that they could control.
I had no idea I would be given the opportunity to work with the medical school in any capacity. And the standardized patient program really provided that opportunity for me to be able to deal with doctors and even have to provide them with feedback and train them to improve their experience with patients.
Many of the things that we do as physicians involve human interactions. Many academic institutions now have their own standardized patient programs. Not many of them use actors.
Whatever ailment or symptom I'm given as a standardized patient, I have to make sure that I am convincing and even make it difficult and challenging for the doctors.
And we are really one of the few programs to grow out of a collaboration specifically with the theater department.
We now have 65 actors, standardized patients, 2 full-time people, $300,000 annual budget, and we conduct training for nearly every aspect of the School of Medicine.
In my 3rd year at VCUarts studying sculpture, I became really interested in how sculpture can influence medicine and how medicine can influence sculpture.
I had a student, an undergraduate sculpture student, come and shadow me during my office hours named Morgan Yacoe. And during her time spent with me in the office, I got to know a lot more about both the specific sculpture program and the resources available.
She called me and she said, Morgan, I think I have a use for your sculpture skills in the operating room. I have this case of conjoined twins. They are conjoined at the abdomen. Would you be able to take a life casting of their bodies and then make a medical model so that I could use it for surgical planning for the reconstructive aspect of the surgery?
What I really needed was some way to simulate practicing the surgery with a model that helped me to approximate their soft tissues and their skin. That was, I think, 4 or 5 years ago that I started working with Morgan, and we've continued to collaborate. She really has been very interested in that nexus between art and medicine, particularly surgery.
There is a cross-pollination of ways of viewing problems, which is more important than ways of solving problems.
At first it was like so far out and we thought, why are we the right people for that? Turned out we're actually the perfect people for that. Because we are trained as artists to think outside of the box, to not do things how they're usually done.
Nobody gets into the arts because they want to make money. People get into the arts because they want to make a difference in the world. And every single day you work in the School of Medicine, every single day you work in healthcare, you do something that directly makes a patient's life better. There is no higher calling in art than that.